what is up YouTube? It is Toy Adventures here again with another figure review. And today we're taking a look at something huge and epic. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Jurassic World Super Colossal Spinosaurus. So this is long awaited. Ever since they announced the Super Colossal line, and especially started it with the Tyrannosaurus Rex, I have been eagerly waiting for them to do a Spinosaurus, and I'm sure a lot of you have as well. It's just a really sought after dinosaur in any scale, any line, any way you can hand us a Spinosaurus, we are excited to take it. And this is the Super Colossal version, meaning now we have a massive, giant, eating feed tunnel Spinosaur toy. Bonus points, it's based off of JP3, not JW Rebirth. So it's our classic Spinosaurus. Taking a look here at the box first, it is your standard affair for the new Super Colossal line with this kind of orange and red design where you have the window showing the actual figure, and then the rest of the back of the box is actually just a image or render of the back half of the figurine, kind of give you an idea what it will look like without actually showing the rest of the figure. Included are two little minis right there. You get a mini baby raptor and a baby triceratops, assumedly so the Spinosaurus could eat them, which is pretty grim to think about, but it is what it is. That's pretty much it for the front of the box. Just tells you, you get your minis, shows you what you get. The top of the box here is pretty standard. Take a look here at the side. It shows you get a 36-inch long dinosaur. It also shows that you can have them be swallowed by the mouth and come out of the little hole in the stomach. Pretty standard for the Super Colossal line up to this point. So, and all the little cool gimmicks we got before, aside from that one T-Rex that had sound, we can expect here. It seems like they, for the most part, abandoned the sound effect feature on the Super Colossal, which I don't mind because I'm sure that would have jacked up the price on these. And keeping these as affordable as possible is nice. Because these are really, I think, meant for the kids, in my opinion. Because this is really appealing to either a kid, or in my case, a 12 or a 6-inch figure collector. Because we'll get into that in a bit, but this makes a wonderful 1/12 scale Spinosaurus. But I'll show you guys that at the end of the video when I do some size comparisons. Anyway, that's it for the box. Let's go ahead and get this thing broken out of containment and see how big and terrifying she or he really is. And here is the Super Colossal Spino out of the packaging, and this beast is huge, as it should be. Proportion-wise, let's take a look at the whole body. I do have an issue with how stubby it looks. It just looks like a lot of its mass is right here, and it should be a little bit more stretched out, just a tad bit. Just feels like they kind of took it and clumped it up. It's just not as long as it should be. This looks chibi-eyed, and that is the last thing you want for a Super Colossal. On a related note, I did nick myself pretty damn good trying to get this thing open. You see that big cut? That's from this thing's box. It wounded me. As for the minis you get, these are repacks. We've gotten these two before. I believe this was with the reimagined, one of the reimagined Alan or Ian sets, and this came with the other one. The two baby raptor and the baby triceratops. So just more babies to add to your collection, which is pretty cool. And then this behemoth. Sculpt-wise, this thing is fantastic. They always go above and beyond with these Super Colossals. Just going through here, letting you guys get a good look at all of that sculpted detail. Let's go ahead and open the mouth, which is actually a little tough to do with one hand. The teeth look great. They're not oversized or gummy at all. These look really intimidating. They're realistically small. They look down there in the mouth. Really good. Profile shot. Looks actually pretty good the way the eyes poke out from the side. You can tell this thing can really see in front of it. The scaling back here in the neck. I don't know if that's actually as defined as the Hammond collection, but we'll of course do comparisons. The body looks really good with all this nice detail. This does look like the Hammond collection right here, which is how intricate the body detailing is. It's really impressive. Nice realistically sized feet, they're not oversized. They really remind me of that scene where the Spino stomps on Nash and then eats him. That's always how I gauge how big the foot is, and that looks perfect to that scene right there. Steps right on him. Looks fantastic. The sail is a little undersized. I ain't gonna lie, this thing is a little weak compared to what it, the rest of the body mass. I feel like it should go up about here. And well, the body is already squished, like I said, so that's what makes it also look a little extra small, is that it should be a little bit longer with a longer body. So the sail does kind of have that Mattel sin of looking a little too short. That's because the whole proportions of this thing are a little off. With that out of the way, we know the sculpt is really good. Paint-wise, this is actually kind of in between the main Legacy collection and the Hammond collection, where it's obviously not as good as the Hammond collection, but it's way better than the Legacy collection, which was just like almost just 2 colors. Whereas this one gets the brown, it gets the white stripe, it gets the red in there. It still doesn't get the blue or any of that, but it does get more of the Spinosaurus look in there than the Legacy collection did, which is really nice. That being said, this is still a really simple looking color scheme, and I would really like to get a second one of these, or even just say screw it and just customize this one just to add a new paint job. I do kind of want to have a default one and then a custom one, so we will see, especially if this thing is on sale for 50 bucks. Did I mention that, guys? Well, at least when I bought it, it was on sale at Walmart for 50 bucks on their website. Free shipping. I got it the next day after ordering it, and only paid like $54, and this thing is going to retail for $70. So I'm really hoping I can cop one more before that sale ends to get a good custom one for the G.I. Joe movies. Anyway, let's get into functionality of this thing, because this thing does have some pretty cool gimmicks. Well, gimmick. And that being the classic Super Colossal food tunnel gimmick, meaning you could take something, put it down the throat, which is going to take a little bit of effort because of the sculpting of the mouth, but you could put that down the throat, and you come down here, open the stomach, and retrieve the toy. Basically meaning this thing can eat figures. It's called the feed tunnel or the food tunnel or whatever. Really cool little gimmick. I love when dinosaur toys do this. It really enhances play scenarios where you can actually have your Spinosaurus gobble up somebody. Obviously, regular figures are going to fit in there real easy. I don't quite have a regular size figure. Funny enough, I have this little bluey figure right here. This little bandit, which is roughly 1/118 scale, roughly, and he fits in there perfectly fine. Bandit did, unfortunately, get eaten by a Spinosaurus, but it's all right because he got pooped out in the end. So, it works really good with 1/118 scale figures. So that is the whole eating food gimmick. Standard on these Super Colossals, but on the Spinosaurus here, it just feels a little extra special. Getting a Spinosaurus toy with a feet gimmick is really nice. Articulation-wise, you just saw me move the skull can move up, the jaw can move down. I don't know. There is no rotation here of the neck. I know you see the seam, but it really seems like it's glued shut. The thighs are on a ratchet with a stop right there, and then another hard stop right there. But it click, click, stop, click, click, stop. So you do have some options with posing the legs of it. The tail, like always, is on a really tight hinge and rotation. The arms are on a hinge right here and a hinge at the wrist as well. As you can see, the thighs aren't as strong or stiff as I'd like. When trying to pose it around, they do like to collapse on you. So I feel like the ratchets on the thighs should have definitely been a lot stronger, considering this thing has to deal with a lot of weight at all times. So, That being said, how does this thing compare size and detail-wise to previous Spinosaurs? So, here we have the Spinosaurus compared to our standard release Spino. And as you can see, the body shape, the body at least poses are extremely similar. That's kind of what I'm thinking they based the whole shape of it off of. But the sculpt work definitely reminds me a lot more of our Hammond collection. So here is another view at all of them together. So you get a general idea. Yeah, they did do that one epic attack, but I'm not going to go search that one down. Just to show it off here when it really is just kind of a mid-sponge. Anyway, so that's what we have on offer. Of course, I'm always going to prefer the Hammond collection. It just has the best sculpt, the best paint, the best everything out of anything. Of course, mine is custom painted, so it's a hard, you can't really count this one, but even the basic one is still a superior looking Spinosaur. That being said, these Super Colossals were never meant to be, paint-wise at least, top of the game. That's really where their sculpt comes in. But even sculpt-wise, I think this is still bested by the Hammond collection, which is sad because with a huge figure like this, there is no excuse for poor sculpting. They had a lot of area to work with, and if they screwed it up, they really screwed up. Proportions still bug me here. I understand having to squish them down for a smaller retail release where it's, trying to fit within a certain box dimensions. But with this one, seeing as it's a Super Colossal, shrinking any of these proportions seems criminal. It should have been the full size, full length. Make a bigger box if you have to, but it's a Super Colossal. This is where your opportunity is to not cheap out on the size in any way. And we still did. So that is a bummer to me. But finally, to wrap up this review, I'm going to go ahead and compare it to what I got this for mainly, which is to scale with 1/12 scale figures. Specifically, G.I. Joe Classified. Here we have dial tone. This is about your average sized figures. Some are smaller, some are bigger. And as you can see, that is a little big, but for Jurassic Park, really, this is a great size scaling, especially if you ask certain Spinosaur fans that love to overhype how big the Spinosaurus really is. This is great. And one of the ways I always like to test how good two figures fit into scale, especially a Spinosaur and a human, is, well, there's that one scene in Jurassic Park 3 where the Spinosaur reaches into the plane and takes Nash out, and you see Nash hanging around in the Spinosaur's mouth. And you get a direct comparison between the size of Nash, an average human, and the size of the Spinosaur's mouth, comparing them together. So, if we just recreate that, that looks perfect compared to that scene. He's not too big in the mouth, he's not too small, but perfect enough to be cradled out just like he was in the movie, which makes this, in my opinion, a perfect 1/12 scale Spinosaurus. Let's see if you can actually have him swallow 1/12 scale figures. And this is a pretty bulked up figure considering it has all this gear on. If you can swallow this, you can swallow your Spider-Man or whatever, you know what I mean? And it goes in there. It's a little tough, you gotta kind of push it a little bit. It's not gonna slide down real easy, but you can get it out and then you can retrieve it real easy. So, whether it's minis, whether it's 1/118th, or whether it's 1/12th, this Spinosaurus can eat them, which really makes this a spectacular figure for those of us who are bummed that the Amber collection was canned, because that pretty much with it went our chances of any proper articulated 1/12 scale dinosaurs, specifically the Rex, the Spino, all the cool ones that we were really looking forward to, just pretty much got canceled and that line got axed. So the Super Colossal line, in my opinion, is that line's, or at least that scale's, last glimmering hope of giving us large scale, in-scale dinosaurs. And while the T-Rex is a bit oversized to be a true 1/12 scale dinosaur, this Spinosaurus, I believe, is just right. But guys, let me know what your comments are, what you think of it down in the description. My final rating on this big guy is going to be an 8 out of 10. All right, it's great. It does everything you need to be, but it's sculpt-wise, it's just not perfect. It's just not perfect. It's right there, but the sculpt really screws it up for me. If this just had the proper length and profile of a Spinosaurus from Jurassic Park without any issues, this would have been a 10 out of 10 figure for me. It doesn't need electronics. The sculpt is great. The paintwork is adequate and at least expectable. And the gimmicks on it are really nice. So it's just a little shame that they had to do that weird size scaling thing. Or that weird proportions thing is really what it is. So anyway, guys, that is my review. What do you guys think? Again, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, I'll be catching you guys in the next video. This has been Toy Adventures, signing out. Peace!